Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Wednesday, June 1st, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am here for our weekly PGA show to go briefly over what we can look forward to this coming week in the PGA and how you want to start rounding up some of those bets and start looking at your prize picks plays for the PGA this week. Today is a fantastic day, start of June here at Coach Talk. We have all kinds of stuff going on. We'd love to have you join us. If you want to go to dfscoachtalk.com, you can sign up there for as little as even a 3-day pass for $10. So come and join us. The Memorial Tournament is the site this week. It is Jack's event. It's the Jack Nicklaus tournament that he hosts at his course there at Muirfield Village Golf Club. It is always a fantastic tournament, gets a great field. All the big boppers are there, of course, in honor of Jack, really, to come there and play every year. And it's always very competitive. It's a tough course. Last year, they carved it up pretty good. I think it'll be a little bit tougher this year, the way it's going to play. But it is a course in Dublin, Ohio. The weather's supposed to be good this week. A little rain possibly on Thursday morning, nothing major. And then it should be good for the rest of the week. So a nice event weather-wise will definitely help the situation there. It is a tough course. It's a par 72, but big, very important course to make your approach shots very consistent and solid, putting them in the right place on the greens. That is very important on this course. You do get penalized with some larger rough and some traps and some difficult angles to come back at the hole if your approach game is not in place. So strokes gained approach is the key statistic to look at this week. And with some of our picks that we have, we certainly have taken that into consideration here, because very important to be in the right spot and have control of those irons in a lot of spots. And there's a lot of attackable par fives. So, this course has been won with long hitters and one with strategic players that don't hit it as long. So it's not a complete necessity to be long. But if you're long and straight and you have a good approach and you can putt, yeah, wouldn't that be nice for everybody? But you put all those pieces together, you certainly can do very well here. We'll talk a little bit about recency to see who's done well on this course. Certainly, if everybody remembers last year, Jon Rahm had won it 2 years ago. Last year, he was just crushing the field. It was all but over. And he tested positive for COVID and had to withdraw. So really, should be considered that he's the two-time defending champion. So we'll consider that when we're looking at everything as well. We'll also take a look at the odds and go through a little bit of what Vegas thinks as well, because that certainly makes a big difference here. All right, let's go with a couple of things. Let's actually go to the odds now. Let's do that first, because it is important where Vegas weighs in here. And they certainly remember that Rahm won it 2 years ago and should have won it last year. He's the favorite at 10-1. I'm not going to be going Jon Rahm this year, because I think his around the green game is just so sloppy. His form isn't quite there. Granted, he loves this course and certainly could wake up here, but I think he'll get a decent amount of ownership, and he's the favorite at 10-1. But I'm going to be fading Rahm. So wanted to definitely focus on that, because who you buy up to, there's really a big five going in this. Rahm, McIlroy, Cantlay, Schauffele, and Morikawa are somewhat, the key five guys. Also, Cam Smith, Jordan Spieth are getting a lot of early play. But, I think having one of those top guys is going to be a necessity, and certainly would not blame people for taking Rahm, but that's not where I'm going to go. I'm a little more interested in Vegas's second choice, and that's Rory Mcilroy at 12-1. He's put things together. He's playing better. He's putting better. He's more consistent off the tee. His statistics all the way around are looking better, and he's always been a guy. Strokes gained approach has always been strong for him. So I think he could be, the favorite in my mind to win this, and he's definitely going to make a lot of my lineups. The third choice, Patrick Cantlay at 16-1, defending champ. Really, again, he's played phenomenal golf here on this course. We'll go over recency, but the problem is he's playing terrible. I mean, I've dialed him up and watched him closely in quite a few events, and he's just not there. He's inconsistent. He's not finishing. Just something missing from his game all the way around. And at 16-1, third choice, I think he'll grab a bunch of ownership because of what he's done here at Muirfield Village, but he will not make my lineups. Xander Schauffele, the fourth choice at 18-1, definitely a lot more interested in him, and he thrives on these type of courses. He's always in the thick of it, always a threat to win every week, playing well. Certainly a lot of interest there. Cameron Smith, Mr. Mullet Head there, 20-1. I am just amazed at how consistently he's in the thick of things. Played fantastic golf this year, no doubt about it. Certainly a threat. If he gets into one of my lineups, I'd be surprised because he's expensive and, looking at some of these other guys, but certainly would not, just toss him because he is always a top 10 candidate without question. Jordan Spieth, 22-1. A little disappointing last week for sure on a course I thought he'd play very well at. He's played 5 weeks in a row, I believe, which is unusual for him anymore. He usually takes a week off here and there. Just not in sharp form, still missing some short putts, and just going to be a little too expensive for me. Colin Morikawa, he's been grinding, getting it done. But again, he's another guy, just putting is just awful right now. He is losing so many strokes on the greens, and this course is not a course to not putt well. They're lightning fast greens, and you got to be sharp. And he's 22-1 as well, but I am not going to go there. Shane Lowry, on the other hand, definitely sharp. I mean, you look at the way he's played over in Europe and here this year, he's always in it. 25-1, dangerous. Certainly a guy I would consider here. His form is going quietly, below the radar, and he is playing really, really well. So definitely consideration there. Victor Hovland made a little run last week. He's 28-1. There's no doubt as far as just pure ability, he's right up there with anybody in the world. Just a little sloppy around the greens, and not a good place to be sloppy around the greens here at Muirfield Village. So I like him. I think he's tempting. He's expensive though. And I'd like to see that short game just get a little bit tighter before I dial him up. Matthew Fitzpatrick, 28-1 as well, as is Hideki Matsuyama. Two guys, both can threaten at any given moment. Just not sure that I want to, spend the kind that it's going to take to go there. I'd rather go with two guys higher and then get a little bit of mid-level and a couple bargains. I think that's the build that I'm looking at. And Fitzpatrick and Matsuyama make that a little bit difficult. Will Zalatoris comes in next with Sungjae Im at 33-1. Again, both playing well. Im was stuck over in Korea for a while. He's now got a few tournaments back here. He had COVID over there and was quarantined for a bit. And we know Zalatoris, he almost took down his first major. He's fighting and battling. So both good players, both a little costly. 33-1 Vegas, though, is a lot of respect. Both dangerous, and could see reasons why you'd want to go there. All right, let's go back now and look at some recency, because that means a lot in a tournament like this, where they go back to the same place every year. It's great. A lot of these courses have been new, or they switch courses, but this track has been a regular on the tour for quite some time. So let's talk about last year. Again, you have to mention the Jon Rahm thing. He was up by a ton of strokes when he had to withdraw with COVID. But top 5 last year here were Cantlay, Morikawa, Scheffler, Grace, and Reed. So interesting to keep track of there. Year before was Rahm, Palmer, Fitzpatrick, Day, and Wallace. So, seeing Rahm there, definitely is tempting. Then, as I said, Cantlay won this 2 out of the last 3 years. He shot a 64 back in 2019 to win it on Sunday. It was Cantlay, Scott, Kmar, Streelman, and Leishman. And then in 2018, top 5, DeChambeau, who we know is out, on Stanley, Cantlay, another top 5 here, and Uline. So big differences from 2018. And then the last one, we'll look at 17. It was old Jason Duffner. Man, things have changed pretty fast in 5 years. And Ricky Fowler, he's not been there. Lahiri, Kuchar, and Justin Thomas. So big changes in 5 years, no question about it. But, definitely notes to take if you're a recency guy on a course. Certainly Cantlay, certainly Rahm, Morikawa. Some of those same names have been there multiple times, and it's definitely something to pay attention to. I like to take note that Fitzpatrick's finished up there too, because he's a guy I'm having trouble eliminating, but I'm really interested in playing, because he's just so solid, and he's so close to breaking out and winning a couple of tournaments. There's no question about it. All right, let's pull up the pricing, and we'll take for this sample, we'll take DraftKings, and we'll break that down a little bit. But here at Coach Talk, we supply core builds for DraftKings, and we supply full lineups for FanDuel and Yahoo. We look at lineups both for cash/single entry lineups, and then also GPPs if you're looking to take down the big bucks. So again, it's dfscoachtalk.com if you want to join us. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, we'd really appreciate it if you give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that little alert in the upper corner there that lets you know when all of our podcasts post. They're all in front of the paywall, and we're supplying podcasts every day for MLB, NBA, and then our weekly PGA podcast as well. All 3 of those come out today. So if you're in a podcast mood, you've got 3 good podcasts to listen to. And if you hit that alert button, then you'll never miss when one of those premieres. All right, let's take a look at the pricing for the full tournament at the on DraftKings for the Memorial. And, highest priced and should be is Jon Rahm. He's 11-1. Again, I'm not going to go there. The guy I'm more interested in is second highest priced, Rory McIlroy at 10-9. I think he's in a position to win this thing. I really do. Cantlay, again, how can you not? 2 of the last 3 years, he's the winner. 10-7, but I'm the one that can't, because I just don't like the way he's played recently on the tour. Yes, he's great at this course, but he is just really has a lot of holes in his game right now. Morikawa, certainly a great play at 10-4. Schauffele, the same at 10-2. I have a tendency between those two, which are always very close plays. I favor Schauffele a little bit right now. I think he's more in a position to take down event. He's a guy that I would like to buy up to. A couple of other fades for me. Jordan Spieth at 9.7. Not going to go there. Also not going to go with Will Zalatoris as much as I like him at 9.4. Hovland at 9.3 and Matsuyama at 9.2. Again, my strategy is going to be grab a couple of these 10K guys and then try to dip down, go mid-level pricing, and then a couple of bargains. So I'm a little bit more of a not stars and scrubs build, but more towards that than an even build. A couple guys I like. Max Homa, he's only 8.7, been very consistent, played very well throughout the season. And I think he's in position to have a good week. 3 top 10s this year. He's right in the thick of it. I mentioned also Shane Lowry, 10 of 12 cuts here, had some great events over in Europe. 3 top 10s. He's only 9,000, so right on the cusp of that. Another guy I want to fade for sure. Daniel Berger, he's 8.5. He has not played well. Bad history at Muirfield Village. Another guy that I was on huge earlier in the season is Corey Connors. I'm fading him again. He's up at 8.4. And again, a guy I just don't trust on this track. Couple of guys, though, here at 82 and 8,300 that could be those mid-level guys that I'm looking for to mix with my 10K guys. And that's Neiman and Answer. They're both cheap. They've combined for 6 top 10s. They've made 24 cuts combined. They're both young. They're both tough. I think they're 2 guys that could really be in the mix here. I like them very stoutly to make the cut. And those 2 will be definitely on my radar. Last couple of guys that I'd like to consider. It's showing here that DeChambeau's in the field, so I'm going to check on that. I wouldn't touch him if he is. He's obviously been out injured. I thought he was going to be out injured again, but regardless if he's in or out, I'm not playing DeChambeau. I wouldn't recommend it. He's obviously going to be, if he is in, going to be very rusty. Couple other cheaper guys you can look at. Chris Kirk, 7,700. He's been in form lately. He's a guy that made the cut and was stronger last week for us. Decent player, certainly, that can win on any given week. The old-timer Jason Day, 7,600. He's cheap. He's got a good record here at Muirfield Village. Not a big guy anymore with Jason Day, but certainly a guy that you can put in there that can get it done. On the cheaper side, Tom Hoagie, 15 of 21 cuts. He's made 4 top 10s. Nobody realizes that. He's only 7,400. Certainly a guy that you can talk about. And then I'll share 2 more cheaper guys that I'm considering. They're both 7,300, and they're guys that really make the salary work, and they've been good this year. And that's Keith Mitchell and Sepp Skraka. Keith Mitchell's 15 for 22 on cuts, 4 top 10s, and Sepp Straka's, that was Sepp Straka. Keith Mitchell's 12 for 16 on cuts with 4 top 10s. So not too many people would realize Mitchell and Skraka have made 8 top 10s combined, and they're both 7,300. 2 guys I think you can really get a bargain on if you're going looking to be able to buy up and get some of those more expensive guys. So that is it. Quick, wanted to make this fast so people have 20 minutes or so to get an idea of what they want to play. Wanted to get it up there so you can get those lineups up tonight. We're posting our lineups in our Discord on Coach Talk right after the Major League Baseball lock at 7:05. So if you join us, if you're a member listening, you can check out our core build on DraftKings and our full lineups on FanDuel and Yahoo. We'd love to have you join us here. Come and check us out. If you want to do a little digging or see some of our news that posts throughout the day, you can always check us out on Twitter. We're at DFS Coach Talk, and I am at Joe Sarvadi, JoeSarvadi. All right, that is it, my friends. Appreciate it. Enjoy the golf tournament. It's going to be a good one. This really is a competitive event with a lot of the top guys going. So check it out. Let's take some stuff down. Let's keep this hot streak going and coach talk and get it done. So have a terrific rest of your Wednesday. If it's Wednesday night and you're listening to this, get those lineups in before you go to bed. You don't want to miss out. We had a bunch of takedowns a couple of weeks ago, and we had some members that did not get them in the morning. So that was a bummer. So I always recommend get them in there Wednesday night, and you should be good to go. So thanks again. Have a great one. We'll be back again next week when we look to crush it in PGA DFS. And don't forget, our prize picks plays will also be announced this evening, and they'll be for the first round. So we'll be crushing it in prize picks in our Discord as well. So thanks again. Have a great one.